Imagine you live for 80 years. At first it sounds like an eternity, but 80 years is only about 29,000 days, around 700,000 hours, a number that feels vast until you realize how quickly it dissolves. A third of it disappears into sleep. Thousands of hours vanish in routines you won't remember, in traffic, in waiting rooms, in front of glowing screens, in conversations whose details will evaporate within weeks. Faces you once loved will become memories. Names that once meant everything will become photographs. Entire chapters of your life will eventually survive only as fragments inside your own mind. And then, one day, even those fragments will disappear. You will disappear. Not symbolically, literally. The universe will continue its movement exactly as it did before you arrived. The oceans will keep advancing and retreating. Stars will be born and die. Children will laugh. Nations will rise and collapse. And existence will not pause for a single second to acknowledge your departure. Most people spend their lives trying not to think about this. Albert Camus did the opposite. He stared directly into it. And what disturbed him most was not death itself. It was the silence surrounding it. The silence of a universe that offers no explanation, no cosmic reassurance, no final answer hidden behind the curtain. You were thrown into existence without consent. Into a body you didn't choose. Into a century you didn't choose. Into circumstances that could have been completely different. And when you ask why, reality remains silent. This silence is what Camus called the absurd. The absurd is not meaninglessness. It is the collision between our desperate hunger for meaning and the indifference of existence. Human beings want reasons. The universe provides events. Human beings want justice. Reality provides outcomes. Human beings want certainty. Life provides ambiguity. Good people suffer. Cruel people succeed. Entire civilizations disappear. Countless dreams die unnoticed. And the stars continue burning as if none of it ever happened. Many people see this and surrender to despair. Camus saw something else. He believed that once we stop demanding answers from a silent universe, a strange kind of freedom emerges. A freedom that is painful. A freedom that strips away illusions. A freedom that forces us to become responsible for our own existence. And perhaps that is why his ideas continue speaking to those who feel lost in a world that rarely explains itself. These are 7 bitter lessons from Albert Camus for surviving the absurdity of being alive. One of Camus' most famous observations was simple. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. At first, it sounds paradoxical. After all, isn't meaning exactly what we are supposed to find? But Camus understood something that many people never realize. The search itself can become a prison. Most people postpone living. They are waiting for the grand revelation, the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect purpose, the moment when everything finally makes sense. Years pass, then decades, and the revelation never arrives. Not because it is hidden, because it does not exist, at least not in the way we imagine. The universe does not contain a secret message with your name written on it. There is no cosmic script waiting to be discovered. No invisible authority assigned your mission before birth. That realization can feel terrifying, but it can also feel liberating, because if meaning is not discovered, it can be created. A cathedral begins as stone. A painting begins as pigment. A life begins as chaos. Meaning emerges through participation, through choices, through suffering, through devotion, through what you decide deserves your limited time. Ancient mystics often described life as a journey through darkness. Not because light was absent, because clarity is earned. You do not arrive in the world carrying purpose. You forge it, and perhaps that is the hidden tragedy of modern life. Many people spend their entire existence waiting for a meaning that only action can create. One day they wake up old, still waiting, still searching, still convinced the answer is somewhere else. Meanwhile, their life quietly ended. Camus would say something uncomfortable. Meaning is not hiding from you. You are responsible for building it before time runs out. Camus wrote, "The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy." Few ideas are more difficult for modern people to accept, because we have been conditioned to believe happiness exists somewhere ahead, just beyond the next achievement, the next promotion, the next relationship, the next version of ourselves. Life becomes a permanent postponement, a waiting room disguised as ambition. Yet psychology repeatedly confirms something ancient wisdom already knew. Human beings adapt rapidly. The dream becomes normal. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. The miracle becomes routine. The new house becomes a house. The success becomes expectation. The victory becomes memory. Then the mind chooses a new horizon, a new mountain, a new promise, and the chase begins again. Sisyphus is not merely a mythological figure. He is modern humanity, pushing, climbing, repeating, believing fulfillment exists just beyond the next hill. But what if it doesn't? What if the majority of life is not the summit? What if life is the climb itself? The mornings nobody remembers, the failures nobody celebrates, the effort nobody applauds, the long stretches between milestones. Most people sacrifice the present for an imaginary future. They miss the only thing they ever truly possessed: this moment. Camus understood that the stone never stops rolling. There is always another challenge, another problem, another mountain. The question is whether you can find dignity within the climb itself. Because if happiness depends entirely on arrival, life becomes a sequence of disappointments. The destination keeps moving, the horizon keeps retreating, and eventually death arrives before satisfaction does. Camus once wrote, "The evil in the world comes almost always from ignorance." History proves how unsettlingly true this is. The darkest chapters of human civilization were rarely written by monsters who believed themselves to be monsters. Most believed they were right. Most believed they understood reality. Most believed they possessed certainty. And certainty is often more dangerous than malice. The 20th century showed this with horrifying clarity. Millions died because ideologies convinced ordinary people they already knew the truth. The enemy was defined. The narrative was accepted. Questions disappeared. And once questioning disappears, conscience often follows. Ignorance is rarely a lack of information. More often, it is the refusal to acknowledge complexity. Reality is inconveniently complicated. People are complicated. History is complicated. Human beings crave simple stories because simple stories reduce anxiety. But simple stories often create suffering. The mystics understood this. The wisest among them rarely claimed certainty. They spoke of mystery, of limits, of humility before the unknown. Camus shared this intellectual humility, not as weakness, as wisdom. Every person you meet contains an invisible universe. Every conflict hides unseen dimensions. Every judgment is based on incomplete information. The danger begins when we forget this, when we mistake fragments for the whole picture, when we stop asking questions, when curiosity dies. A closed mind may appear strong, but it is often fragile because it fears complexity. Camus believed that genuine understanding begins with a simple admission. Perhaps I do not know enough. And in a world overflowing with confidence and starving for wisdom, that admission remains revolutionary. I rebel, therefore we exist. This is one of Camus's most powerful ideas, and one of the most misunderstood. He was not speaking primarily about politics. He was speaking about consciousness, about refusing to surrender your soul. Human beings are deeply vulnerable to conformity. We imitate, we adapt, we obey. Not because we are weak, because belonging feels safer than isolation. Throughout history, entire populations have participated in destructive systems simply because everyone else did. The greatest prison is often invisible. It is the fear of standing apart, the fear of disapproval, the fear of becoming an outsider. Camus saw how dangerous this could become. He watched ideologies transform people into instruments. He watched crowds abandon thought in exchange for certainty. He watched individuals sacrifice conscience for acceptance. The rebel refuses, not recklessly, not blindly, consciously. The rebel says no when obedience demands self-betrayal. The rebel preserves independent thought. The rebel protects the integrity of the soul. Spiritual traditions often describe this as an inner battle. The battle between authenticity and imitation, between truth and comfort, between freedom and submission. Most people never notice this battle. They inherit their beliefs, inherit their desires, inherit their goals, then mistake inheritance for identity. Camus challenged this. He believed rebellion begins when a person asks, "What do I genuinely believe? What do I genuinely value? What am I sacrificing merely to belong?" Because losing the approval of others is painful. Losing yourself is worse. Modern civilization has achieved something remarkable. It has nearly eliminated silence. There is always noise, always stimulation, always distraction. A screen, a notification, a voice, a headline, a video. A constant stream preventing us from encountering ourselves. Yet loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Loneliness is the pain of absence. Solitude is the presence of yourself. And many people fear that presence, because silence reveals what noise conceals. Unresolved wounds, hidden anxieties, questions without answers. The spiritual traditions of the world understood this long ago. Monks entered monasteries. Mystics entered deserts. Hermits entered forests. Not to escape reality, to face it. They understood something profound. The mind becomes clearer when external noise fades. Camus believed solitude performs a similar function. It removes the masks, the performance, the audience, and suddenly you are confronted with yourself. No distractions, no applause, no excuses. Just the strange experience of existing. Many people spend years learning about the world while remaining strangers to themselves. They know current events. They know celebrities. They know trends. Yet they do not know their own minds. Solitude changes that. It is uncomfortable, sometimes painful, sometimes terrifying. But within that discomfort lies clarity. And perhaps that is why so many avoid it. Because eventually silence asks the question no distraction can answer. Who are you when nobody is watching? Camus once wrote, "Blessed are the hearts that can bend. They shall never be broken." Life eventually destroys every illusion of permanence. Every plan changes. Every certainty erodes. Every structure becomes vulnerable. The people who suffer most are often not those facing the hardest circumstances. They are those resisting reality itself. Nature teaches this lesson everywhere. Rigid branches snap. Flexible branches survive. Water outlasts stone. Adaptability often achieves what force cannot. Yet modern culture frequently glorifies stubbornness. Never change, never retreat, never doubt, never reconsider. Camus saw the danger of this mindset. He watched people become prisoners of their own beliefs, unable to revise conclusions, unable to acknowledge mistakes. unable to evolve. Their identities became cages. Psychology now recognizes what Camus intuitively understood. The human mind protects its beliefs even when evidence contradicts them. We defend our pride more fiercely than truth. But reality does not negotiate. Reality simply is. And every collision between illusion and reality eventually produces suffering. Flexibility is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is humility. It is the willingness to let reality teach you something new, even when that lesson wounds your ego. Spiritually speaking, growth often begins with surrender. Not surrender to defeat, surrender to truth. The truth that life is movement, change, transformation, a river, not a monument. The people who survive life's storms are rarely the most rigid. They are the ones who learned when to stand firm and when to bend. Perhaps the most surprising lesson Camus leaves behind is this: despite everything, choose love. This is astonishing when you consider the realities he confronted: death, absurdity, meaninglessness, suffering, loss, the silence of the universe. Yet he did not arrive at cynicism. He did not arrive at emotional withdrawal. He arrived at love. Because love may be the most rebellious act available to human beings. The universe does not love. Nature does not love. Time does not love. Entropy certainly does not love. Love is a human creation, a fragile light generated in a vast darkness. And perhaps that is precisely why it matters. Everything you love will eventually be taken. Every relationship ends in separation. Either they bury you, or you bury them. No exception exists. Every love story contains loss from the beginning. And still we love. This is extraordinary. It is irrational. It is beautiful. It is tragic. It is sacred. The dying rarely wish they had worked more, rarely wish they had accumulated more status, rarely wish they had won more arguments. Again and again, what remains are people, faces, voices, moments, connections. Love does not solve the absurd. It does something more courageous. It faces the absurd and chooses intimacy anyway. It acknowledges impermanence and commits itself regardless. It knows the ending, yet continues. And perhaps that is the deepest lesson Camus offers. We do not need final answers. We do not need certainty. We do not need the universe to explain itself. We need the courage to live despite not knowing, to create despite impermanence, to hope despite uncertainty, to love despite loss. Because in the end, the void is real, the silence is real, the absurd is real. But so is the human capacity to stand before all of it and say, I will live anyway. If these ideas resonated with you, and if this channel has helped you see life a little more clearly, consider supporting our work. Becoming a member gives you access to more than 100 exclusive videos, deeper reflections, and content created specifically for those who want to go further. You can also support the channel with a super thanks. Every contribution helps us keep creating meaningful content. That said, simply watching, liking, and sharing these videos already helps more than you might realize. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey.